Now this is called a horror film, and it is quite horrifying, but it's not a horror film as far as horror film tropes go. It is an extraordinary movie. It's called Red Rooms. It was released in 2023. It's a French movie with subtitles, with Subtitled. So, obviously I have to say that because some people are going, subtitles, and there's nothing wrong with saying that at all. There's nothing wrong with people saying, I don't really get on with subtitles, or I don't feel like it tonight. For many weeks, I didn't feel like that. But myself and my lovely wife Debbie and my friend Alan, hello Alan, we searched through a book that I'd been bought for Christmas, which was A Writer's 200 horror films you may not have seen, and this was one of them. It's on BFI Player, if you've got that subscription. As I have, yes, I have a subscription. Oh, yes. I'm a film fan, you see. You're not a film fan if you haven't got a BFI subscription. How dare you? Not really, but I've got a BFI subscription. And mainly because it renews, and I never think, no one ever tells me. Before it renews, they just say, we've renewed it. Oh, have you? Oh, fair enough. And it's also on Prime. You have to pay for it, unless you want to take out a BFI subscription. And it's well worth being paid for. And a BFI subscription, of course, is well worth it too. But this is about a trial of a gentleman called Ludovic Chevalier, who has, the allegation is that he has made 3 movies, 2 of which have been discovered and 1 of which hasn't, of him torturing young girls, 12, 13 and 14, for the highest bidder. He's tortured them and killed them, and filmed it for the highest bidder, who will watch the movie in the so-called Red Rooms. It's a high-profile trial, and there are 2 people in particular who are going every day. First scene, by the way, I think it's about 10 minutes, and there isn't a cut in it. We see the opening remarks from the judge, from the prosecution, from the defence, and camera follows them around. It's beautifully done. No cuts. Alan said to me, is there a cut yet in this scene? No. I mean, Robert Altman famously did that in The Player, and with far more ups and downs. Look, I'm sweeping down and all of that. This is far more prosaic, but it's a small room, a tiny courtroom. It's all in whites. It's really quiet. And because you've got the situation which we have in European courtrooms of the accused in a glass box, it's really quite claustrophobic. Now, we focus, although actually we're not quite sure if we're going to focus on this person first, we focus on Kellyanne, played with absolute detachment by Juliette Garipi. She is a model who lives on her own in an apartment, also has shares, and also gets spending money by playing poker. As she said, you need to find out who the emotional players are and exploit that. Okay. So, we're not quite sure early on whether she is going to be the one that we focus on, or whether it's going to be the far more emotional Clementine, played by Laurent Babin. And it is actually Kellyanne who takes over. Clementine, she befriends Clementine, and they play games together, and she lets her into her life, and it's a kind of, you're not quite sure whether, with the driven nature of Kellyanne, whether this is, and with them both sleeping all night outside the courthouse to get in and all of that, and with the absolutely driven Kellyanne, very secure and sure in her regimented life, with her working out and playing squash and modelling and drinking shakes and poker and all of that, whether she is finding a friend who is the other part of her, because Clementine is not so together, and younger and smaller and not conventionally beautiful and not willowy and not model-like, or she's setting her up for a grooming situation, and she is so obsessed with the trial because she wants to find out more and watch a Red Room video herself. It is an extraordinary movie in that it has an ominous nature all the way through it, and it keeps you guessing. I will not tell you what the ending is, but it surprised, shocked, and delighted me. There is no hope in this movie at all. These are terrible things that someone, and it might have been Ludovic, it could have been, he was masked throughout these two videos they've found. The whole thing, the terrible, the families crying and the terrible burden they have, and the way that the jury are shown the movies, and we don't see those, but we hear the screams and all of that. The terrible nature of this, the terrible nature of these alleged crimes. Well, this happened. Young girls were killed. Whether Ludovic did that or not, is the reason for the trial. But that this happened is such a lowering feel on the whole movie. The awfulness of the dark web. I wouldn't even know how to get onto the dark web. I don't want to, but I don't even, I said to during the film, I don't even know how you do that. Nor will I type those words into a search engine, of course, but however, we're very well aware that Kellyanne, who is very sure of her internet possibilities, she's got a picture on the wall in which is her sort of her kind of virtual helper. So can read her emails, can do that, can talk to her, kind of like an Alexa or a Siri or a Bixby or a Gemini. There are others available. And she can hack into people's accounts and find out where one of the homes is of the girl whose the family of the girl whose video has not been discovered, and she gets into that property at one point as things keep going. And she is seen on TV, and she has seen earlier in the trial that what one of the girls was wearing, which was a school outfit and braces on her teeth. She then, after Clementine has seen the movie, the films, the videos, at Kellyanne's apartment, because she has them, she leaves the whole thing and leaves Kellyanne on her own. And Kellyanne then starts to spiral into an unnatural interest in the situation, which is, one of the things is that she's seen on TV, she's shown at the trial, it's on the news every night. Clients start to cancel her for photo shoots. Her agent then drops her because we know you're edgy, but we know you have an edgy appeal, but can't do this. And then she starts to really spiral out of control. And at one point she dresses up in the outfit that she heard one of the victims was wearing, and also puts braces on her teeth in the courtroom to get the attention of the accused, Ludovic Chevalier, who when she's dragged out of the courtroom, just gives her a little wave. It's so frightening. And then she's on a road where she is talking to people who she can bid in an auction for a video, a Red Room video. And at that point, I thought, I know where this is going. I know she's spiraling out of control, and this interest in the case will ruin her life, and something terrible will happen. And she is interested in these Red Room videos because she is interested in this kind of activity. And I was shocked that that is not the case. I will not tell you how it ends, but this is an extraordinary movie. with very little for you to hold on to. It is stark. There is no mollycoddling here at all. The subject matter is difficult. The process of the courtroom is difficult. The details are difficult. Nothing is hidden. There is no discreet veil drawn over these details except for seeing the films themselves. And at one point, they do show part of the film. Not that it's anything that will disgust or upset or offend you, but they do show a bit of that. Nothing here will swaddle you. There is nothing that makes you say, take a breather. Just take a breather. It's unrelenting. Because the main character is unrelenting. Her life is unrelenting. It is swift. It is completely regimented. It is regimented, and that's the way that she handles this situation. Something new comes into her life. She's interested in it, and we don't know why, and we don't have to be told why. And we think by the end, we might know why. But we don't really know why. We know why Clementine is interested. She's interested because she has some kind of affection for the man accused, for Ludovic, until she sees the videos. And then she leaves. But Kellyanne does not have that kind of affection. It's not the kind of affection you would expect. You know, we all know of people on death row who are married to women, and women who are married to men on death row. And it follows a certain pattern, you know, letter writing and then all of that. This is not like that. This is more direct and extreme and quicker. And that's the thing about Kellyanne. She is incredibly direct. Everything is regimented. And when she gets an idea, she goes for it. And that informs this whole film. And it informs the end of the film. And it is a horrific movie because of the whole idea that people could do this. People could do this for money. People could do this to people for money. And people would want to pay money to see this. It's disgusting. And horrific. And there's an ominous feel to this movie. It is about no connection. Nobody has a connection with anybody. Just when you think that Kellyanne and Clementine are about to connect, she leaves. Clementine leaves. Kellyanne went too far. Then Kellyanne has a connection, or she feels she does, with the accused Ludovic. And then she feels she has a connection with the families. And that might be the scariest thing of all. But it has a fantastic upbeat ending. I'd advise you to watch this movie. It's a great, horrible but great movie. The atmosphere is wonderful. It's directed with no frills or furbelows. It's like, it's clean. The whole movie is clean. It's sharp edges and white clean surfaces and neatness. Nothing is messy except Clementine. And the rest of it really, the rest of that cleanness really fits into a horrible situation, which is the messy part of this. The horrible mess that is coming into people's neat, well-organised lives. And emotions are messy. And they are incredibly well corralled in this movie. The main character has emotions which are incredibly well corralled. And even when things are not working well for her, her emotions are really well corralled. That's very scary as well. She could use the power she has with her emotions and her well-regimented life and her directness to do something that wouldn't be very nice. And the choice she makes is wonderful. But the fear of what's going to happen is terrible. Ta-ta.